Greeting math enthusiasts. I'm Tim, and today I'm delving into some exciting mathematical challenges. But before we begin, grab your pen and paper. I've got 5 questions for you. Pause the video, write them down. No peeking at the answers just yet. Whether you solve them silently or on paper, hold yourself accountable and see how accurate you can be. Covering topics from grade 7 to 9, we'll touch on fundamental concepts like order of operations, remember BODMAS, working with integers, that's handling negative numbers. Let's clarify some key terms: operations of symbols, constants, variables, and coefficients. Here's a challenge for you. Can you differentiate between equations and expressions? Jot down your answer. And when you're solving for x, does the question provide an expression or an equation? Number 1, we have 2x equals 3x minus 5. It's like a minigame. You can move the terms around, but remember one rule: change the operation sign when you do so.
If you can't see the symbol, it means there's a plus. In principle, left-hand side, I write first as the original. So this would be when this goes over, what is left is that minus 5. Then 2 minus 3 divided with minus 1 on both sides. Number 2, 4, open bracket, x minus 1, close the bracket, equal 2, open bracket, x plus 6, close the bracket. This question we'll be using distribution property, BODMAS, and sorting out the left-hand side and right-hand side to solve the questions. And those are our steps. BODMAS is an acronym standing for brackets of division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. The order of operations in which you should take care of your steps. The priority: firstly, distribute your terms on both sides. I'm going to multiply this 4 into the bracket. I'm going to do the same with the 2 on the right-hand side. So this will become 4x minus 4. And on the right-hand side, we'll have 2x plus 12. Now the next step is sorting out variables and constants, taking them to which side you would like. The convention, the variables on the left-hand side and the constants on the right-hand side. So remember, there's an invisible plus here. So when it goes over, it will become a minus 2x. The same thing will happen with the minus 4. When it goes over, it will become plus 4. Okay, so these are the mental steps. You don't have to write them, but sometimes maybe you're writing them in pencil for yourself or for your teachers or examiners will help them understand what you are doing or what you're thinking about in the questions. So a little heads up, but not a must. Really, the next line should be, again, I write the first thing that was here originally, that's 12, and then I go and write plus 4. Now sorting out 4 minus 2 is, and the same going to happen on this side. That's the addition in your BODMAS idea, and that's the subtraction. Now we end up with 2x. Note questions ask solve x, but this x is invisible 1. So you can always think about the question needing to have that 1, and we're still missing that. So we can divide with 2, divide with 2 on both sides, end up getting number 3. X divided by 2 equals 4.5. Formatting matters. The way a question is presented to you can impact your understanding. In mathematics, there are various ways to express the same concept. You have the freedom to express or rewrite any question in a format that enhances your confidence and ensures your accuracy. And this is a good example. I'll show you 2 variations. Number 1, the original way. This number is a mixed number, but this number is a fraction. This one has whole numbers and it has fractions, and this one is purely a fraction. Make this improper. How to do that is, remember, from the bottom we multiply it with the whole number and then we add what's on top. So that's 2 times 4 plus the additional 1 being 9 over 2. We need to solve x, not this x over 2, or you can think about it as you can multiply by 2 on this side, you can multiply by 2 on Those will cancel out, and obviously these will cancel out. And number two, I'll rewrite the question here at the top. But another way of thinking about this question is, again, we'll rewrite this part the same as 4 plus a half. Now I know this might look a little bit weird, putting it in brackets, so as you think about it, this was originally one thing. We might want to see that this has its own denominator of 1. We can multiply by 2 again. Here we'll need to do that as well. Bracket there, it means we'll need to go into it. 4 times 2 is 8 plus, and because there's already a 2 here, we can cancel them out. That's 1. And then again. Number 4, 3 to the power of x equals 27. The best way to approach these types of questions is to recognize that the variable is expressed as an exponent. If you look at all the questions we've been tackling thus far, those variables are bases, level with the coefficient number or the value part. Thus, we need to make the left-hand side and the right-hand side look similar. Once they have similar looking bases, you can drop the bases, finalize the equation. Side note, you could argue about being able to solve it mentally, but just like most subjects, solving for x is about being able to convey your thoughts on paper. Akin to any language where you're asking to convey creative writing by writing a story, the same thinking applies. You can tell a story. Can you write the story so that it, when read, carries with the same impact? Now let's solve for x. This question has some theory. Recall your teacher's repeating statement, or know your square numbers and cube numbers. Sometimes even useful to know exponents expressed up until the 5th or 6th power. And this 27 should be recognizable. And if that's the case, look, they're similar looking. Now we can drop the bases and rewrite what is left. That is x equal 3. And if you saw this mentally, well, you could also write the test. Number 5, 3x plus 1 divided by 2 equals 5. When approaching this question, there are two ways of thinking. Number 1, think of this as one term. We can get rid of this denominator level by multiplying with 2. Then we need to do it on both sides. This is going to cancel out that 2. We're going to be left with 3x plus 1. 5 times 2, 10. Sort out variables and constants. Throw the 1 that side. Minus 1 going over. Rewrite the originals. Minus 1. Now we have a 3x. Make it a 1. We can divide with 3 on this side. 2. This denominator level will be given to the 3x as well as the 1. Rewriting it will look like. But because this is no longer one term, the variable and constant sorting out, plus a half, so it goes to this side of the equation, become minus a half. I want to rewrite the x so you can see it a little bit differently. Now the x is no longer just at the top, but it's suspended halfway, showing you this is 3 over 2, or 1.5 x. 5 minus a half, this is 4.5. End up with a mixed number. Sorting it out, 2 times 4 plus 1 is 9 over 2. To multiply first, cancelling this out, cancelling that out, we can rewrite 3x equals 9, divide by 3 on both sides. Final conclusion. Two distinct ways of seeing this question.